GM, beautiful people, we are grateful to have you here. Today, we have another fun episode where we are going to discuss the man, the myth, the legend, G Money himself. Cucho, how are you doing? I'm excited for this one. He is one of my favorite collector creators in the space right now.
Yo, what's good, Button? Yeah, I'm also super excited about this one. Here he is, G Money. He's one of the most notable people in our space. By background, he's an equity trader. He lives currently in Puerto Rico, and he got interested in the NFT space very early on. And actually, how he got interested is he discovered that there is a huge market for Fortnite skins, and this really started his a big belief in that there's going to be a huge market for digital assets. And he did, you can see, like, he doesn't show his face. He uses a CryptoPunk as his avatar, and that one actually he bought in early 2021 for 140 ETH. At that point, it was the most amount to have been ever spent on a CryptoPunk. And really, this was one of the moves that he made that really put him on the map as like a thought leader in the space as well.
Yeah, he's
And
he's
yeah, go ahead.
really incredible. He's really built a brand around that crypto punk. Like that is G Money. When you see that, you now know that's G Money. Like I have no idea what he looks like. I've never met him, but that's G Money, and you'll see him post images of him all over the world traveling with that face on top of it, and you'll also notice that he does his interviews on YouTube with that face on it, kind of like we're doing right now. So shout out G Money for being an inspiration.
Exactly. Yeah, and something that is really important to him is he wants to be a driver of mass adoption. And he actually, like, from the beginning, he was doing that. Very early on, he was putting, with some friends, they were putting crypto punks on billboards. They started in Miami, they were doing it in New York and London. And yeah, and he was just like, he wanted to drive adoption. And he also said, hey, I want to learn this technology before all the big players come in so that I can guide them. And one of the huge brands that in the end entered the space and that he was able to guide was actually Adidas. So, Button, tell us a little bit more about how that came about.
Yeah, I mean, G Money, he is the perfect example of how an individual can really bring in some of these big publicly traded companies into Web3. And by far, I would say the most iconic one was the Adidas drop, which happened last year, where basically, if you bought the Adidas NFT, which Kucho is showing right now, you would receive, in exchange for owning it, the pants that are shown, the tracksuit jacket, also the hoodie, and the iconic G Money orange beanie. And as he brought people into the metaverse via the Adidas card, it started. It was one of the very first big name brands that everyone knows. Everyone knows Adidas. Your grandma knows Adidas, and for them to enter the Web3 space with G Money, and for him to get it so that he's actually a part of the NFT itself is quite amazing for his own personal brand. So yeah, shout out G Money for that one. It's been a fun project. They have a lot in store. It is a multi-phase journey, and right now I think we've just got our sweatshirts, which I know you got one, Cucho, and I'm excited to rock that the next big NFT event.
Yeah, same. And yeah, I mean, aside from doing these partnerships and guiding brands, also something that he was doing from early on is he wanted to build his own community. Like, human collection really means a lot to him. And he said, like, he wants to really grow slowly and organically a really powerful and close knit community. And how he started building his community is actually during Bitcoin Miami of last year. He did a little POAP scavenger hunt where people could did a scavenger hunt and they got rewarded through POAPs. And Button, you are actually one of the lucky people that participated in the POAP. And I think you and your wife are two of 11 people that actually own all of the three POAPs from that scavenger hunt. I
All
mean,
right.
tell us a little bit more about that experience and what that means to you.
Well, it's so crazy. I mean, that's my actual, like, those are my POAPs, and you can see that those three POAPs were the very first POAPs I ever received. My wife and I, we were following G Money because he is a big mover in the space, and he said, "I'm doing a little scavenger hunt around Miami. I highly recommend you do it." But he didn't announce the reasoning why or what was the purpose of it. And we were like, "Dude, this is awesome! Like, we love NFTs. We can go get some free ones, and we just have to go and like check out a couple places." So we went on all 3 days. There's a model that was wearing the iconic G Money crypto punk on her T-shirt, and we went up to her and we verified that we were there, and they gave us the QR code to scan, and then boom, we got these POAPs. And later, it's pretty crazy. It took almost a full year, and he announced those who actually got all three of his POAPs will be given the very first Admit One tickets, which would lead you, get you access into that community that he's been building. So there's 1,000 Admit One tickets, and the primary benefit of having an Admit One ticket is it gets you into the Discord, which is a pretty incredible group of individuals, talented, that are highly involved in Web3, and we work together to help each other get those wins, because there's so much to keep up with in the Web3 space with NFTs and everything, that working together really works well. So I'm very grateful. Number 10, number 11, my wife and I. And yeah, G Money's been it's so crazy how his journey's been evolving and how he's enabled others to be a part of his journey as well. So very grateful. If you ever see G Money in real life, make sure you go up to him and he'll give you a POAP, and you never know what that POAP could lead to in the future.
That's awesome, man. Congrats on that. And yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Admit One. So Admit One was launched in May of this year. And like Button said, there are 1,000 NFTs, and it actually was a free mint. And why he made this a free mint, he said a lot of thought went into it. But on one hand, he wanted it to be a homage to the CryptoPunks, because the CryptoPunks were actually free to claim. And also, he wanted it to be more inclusive, right? Because if he would have set like a price for it, there probably would have been a lot of people that didn't have the ease to spend on it. So he wanted it to be really inclusive, and he really wanted to reward his earliest supporters. So 700 of these tickets went to his POAP collectors, and then 300 were handpicked by him. Something else that was really important to him, which I think is really cool, is that he wanted to have a very large female representation in his community as well. So of the ones that were handpicked, I think about like 60% or so were females as well. That was something that was important to him.
That's very
Button,
interesting.
yeah,
I
Button, you're part of this community. Tell us a little bit more about the value that you get through it in your experience with it.
Yeah, I have to say that it's really been community driven. They have a crew of individuals that are called the Watchers, and they essentially are working in different forms of Web3, and their goal is to add value to this community. So they reach out to other projects to discuss rewarding those who have an Admit One. So often, I'm talking multiple per week, you'll get access to enter a raffle through pre-mint, in which you can get an ability to mint something or get something for free if you win the raffle. And because there's only 1,000 Admit One tickets, your odds are pretty good, because one, you have to have a ticket, and two, you have to enter the pre-mint. And so it's actually been quite rewarding, and it's paid for me quite a few dividends, because yeah, if you get a big win for a mint, and you can see on the secondary market that the price of that item is going for significantly more than what the mint price is, congratulations, that's some money. You go pick that up off the ground. So I do love the Admit One. You got to stay in tune with it. They have different threads from in real life events, and I expect that they'll be hosting quite a few more of them as this community continues to get more involved.
Perfect. Yeah, and something else that I think is cool is that there is no specific roadmap with Admit One, but G Money just says like, hey, those 1,000 people, they are like my inner circle, right? And they gonna get involved and get access to everything that I'm doing forward. And I mean, just in the last 2 years, he's already done a lot. But like his most recent project that he launched is 9DCC. So Gmoney is actually building out his own fashion brand, and it's going to be an NFT native brand. And yeah, the first release was the iteration 1 t-shirt. You can see it here, and he's playing around with some really cool ideas around how do you leverage NFTs to like prove the authenticity and so on of these fashion items. So very pumped about that button. I think we're going to do a separate video on it on 90cc. Anything else you would share overall about Gmoney and your perspective?
I think he's quite an incredible leader in this space. I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's helping the Web3 movement, go forward in a productive manner that's beneficial for all. And I'm honored to be a part of his community, and I hope to see some more Admin One peeps in there. I enjoy hanging out with them, man. I appreciate it, dude. This has been fun, man. Gmoney is, to me, he's legend.
Yeah, man, he's a thought leader in the space. Definitely somebody you want to follow. And yeah, he wants to drive two things. He says he wants to identify ways in which NFTs can disrupt industries, and he wants to drive mass adoption. I think so far, job with both. And knowing him, there's a lot more to come.
Absolutely.
All right.
This has been fun, my man. I look forward to speaking to you all on the next episode. Adios, Cucho.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.